All right, I'm Iya Lisa G. Nash. It's a G kind of day. Ifan and whaat. And now I'm going to riff on the girl in What's a White Girl Like This doing in a religion like Ifa. Girl? Who's calling me girl? Makes a big difference, doesn't it? When it's my sisters here in my home, in my temple, it's really sweet. I know that they're seeing the part of my soul that is eternally about 9 years old and has pigtails that stick straight out from her head because she's like, ah! Okay? That's adorable and wonderful. It's girl in certain other contexts involving mostly women or occasionally gay men, certain gay men, or two-spirit people, gatekeepers, right? It can be delightful. And in other contexts, well, it's just plain insulting, isn't it? It's not the word alone, is it? We all know this. Everybody's got some word somewhere that their friends can call them, but somebody who they know is not friendly, it's like, damn, that's a fighting word now. Right? Everybody knows this, right? We already know the truth that words are powerful and powerfully troubling and troublesome, right? Girl. Girl. What does this mean in the context of this question? You know, are you seriously wanting to propose that what we have currently, what we have for a long time assumed is female anatomy and female biology makes somebody unable to do just about anything? Hasn't that really been widely disproven at this point? And not to mention, again, isn't it widely proven that when we box souls who are vaster than sex, vaster than gender can encompass any variations on these grand old themes, when we box souls in, things get quite unpleasant around here. It's just really not a good plan. What the results are in, they suck. But also, you know, who's talking? Are you a gatekeeper? Do you know what a gatekeeper is? Do you accept that in fact everywhere, for all time, there have been people known by various names who walked between? Do I just look like a girl to you? Can't you see my inner man? Let me tell you, brothers and sisters and others, if I put on a beard and a mustache right now, some of you would be like, dang. And some of you would be like, I saw that all along, right? This has to do with what you are habituated to perceiving and what you're habitually comfortable with perceiving. What you mean, girl? What you mean, girl? When we make those kind of boxing in moves with one another, we typically end up boxing. Now, speaking to the history of Ifa, okay, I was born under Ofun Meiji and I was a scholar before I got here, okay, so I looked into this question of why do the verses in Ifa clearly speak about, no, you know, women don't divine with the opale. You know, they don't, well, the opale came in a lot later. Women don't divine like this with the rumila. And during the time when this mode of divination was becoming widespread, it's clear from the verses that many other spiritual tools that had been either exclusively or primarily in the hands of females were transferred, okay, to the hands of males. Well, now come on, Ifa followers. We know that it has everywhere for all time been true that history is recorded, however it's recorded, by the victors, okay? Just because that happened doesn't mean that was like, oh, well, that was good and that's how it should be for all time. Were you there? 10,000 years ago, was that transfer of spiritual power peaceful? Everybody sat down and agreed, oh yeah, the men should run this from now on. It's excellent. Maybe it was. I wasn't there. It seems unlikely, right? Because we can see that this wave of movement from very old cultures where many things, including sort of the final word on shall we proceed like this or not, was held by the women, particularly the mature women, the grandmothers. Sometimes grandmothers and grandfathers, and certainly there were always the gatekeepers. But grandmothers, right, have occupied a significant place in virtually every ancient, which also means sustainable, human culture. And then something happened all over the world. This wave broke out and it all changed, right? We call it patriarchy now. And it's a bad word. It's not a bad word. If we recognize all of this as the evolutionary dance of the divine, and all of us as willing participants, we are compelled to say, look, patriarchy's been really brutal and really destructive in many ways, but it came for a reason. Let's try to understand from inside what those reasons were and what of that we're called to carry forward, because we're clearly going beyond. The old forms of patriarchy have already largely broken down, just as the old forms of matrifocal societies broke down, right? Things are happening at a different pace now. This is not over thousands of years, okay? But it's hotly contested, isn't it? Why would we assume that whatever happened in Ifa that made people say, oh no, the women don't do that anymore, was peaceful and consensual? You're kidding yourself, okay? That's to want to make some people the chosen people. Oh no, we never had any violent patriarchal takeovers here, not us, come on. We've all been in this together all along. We have no basis for peace going forward if we don't simply acknowledge that. Girl, right? All of this is encompassed in that word girl. And my final words on this for today are, yes, it's clear to me that there's a long evolutionary dance here that involved, yes, certain matrifocal, matriarchal, whatever cultures get broken up and their pieces scattered all over the world, picked up in new ways in different places with the spirits of those lands mixed up. A new soup is made. It's called patriarchy. It does some very amazing things, okay? We can't forget that each one of these stages of our evolution has brought blessings, okay? Yeah, there's been a lot of hurting too. But if we forget that, we're starting the whole dance of victims and villains again. We've got to stop and keep stopping, okay? Now, this is a time when a lot of the tools, powers, authorities that have been concentrated in the hands of males are breaking up and running free and going out in all kinds of different ways. It doesn't have to be traumatic. We've been through this before. And we see that we're at a stage of maturity as a species where we could say, we're not willing to make war over these changes anymore with one another. It really hurts us and holds us back. Let's try to look at what's happening and where the blessing wants to flow in this, and let's really try to get with it and help each other in that way. And let our genius shine, our human genius shine out through everybody sharing, so that we can really move on in a good way. It really is that simple. Girl, ashe, ashe, ashe.